Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are re-reviewing the Studio Series 103 Rhinox. But before we take a look at Rhinox, we need to take a look at his box, which I forgot to grab out of my storage area before I started recording this video. So we got Rise of the Beast, Transformers on the side, Rhinox 103. On the side, we got Rhinox in his robot mode, looking mighty fine. On the side, we got Rhinox in his Rhino mode, Studio Series 103, Voyager class. On the back, you get product shots with the wrong leg transformation, in my opinion, 103. Rhinox charges into the scene to protect the maximal layer from intruders. You got all the brown, which is also inaccurate. A lot of inaccuracies on this box, it appears. Let's scroll down on my script. So now, let's look at Rhinox. He looks amazing. I love the texture on him. The scratches on the chest are sculpted in. The brown looks nice. The only issue is he's a little disproportionate. The legs are pretty thin compared to the bulky torso, which, the mechanical details on the arms are also really nice. And just overall very nice looking figure. Accessory, he felt, is a hammer. Really nice looking hammer, but a hammer that's how you English. Nonetheless, it slides into the hand if you want to get him to dual wield it. That is also a possibility. But weapon storage wise, stop falling. You can bring it up like that and just smack it on the back like so. Now, Rhinox's articulation. Head is a bit hard to grip for the ball joint, but it is on a ball joint. It can tilt and it can rotate a full 360, but I'm not going to do it. Shoulders pull a full 360, hinge in and out. The shoulder pad shifts out of the way by itself. Bicep rotation, single jointed bend at the elbow, that bends less than 90 degrees. Wrist rotation. You do, in fact, get a waist swivel on this large lad. The loincloth goes up to allow the hips to go forward that far, back that far. They go out that far, although this piece needs to be readjusted manually. Thigh rotation, single jointed bend at the knee, that bends to 90, and that often comes untabbed. Unfortunately, it's a real pain. Feet go down, and ankle tilt. So now, let's look at size comparisons after I take a drink of water because I am dehydrated. Nice cold water. First up, we got Airazor, who he compares pretty nicely to. If you've seen my previous videos on the Maximals, you already know how he compares to Airazor and Cheetor. So, speaking of Cheetor, here we have him. So they are about head level. I cannot really see on the camera, but they are about head level. Rhinox ever so slightly taller, and I'd venture to guess ever so slightly taller than Rhinox is Optimus Primal, and that would be correct. Primal is ever so slightly taller than Rhinox. Now let's get into transformation. So the first thing I like to do is put him in a T-pose. Then you want to rotate the fist, untab that, rotate, collapse. You do the same on the other side. Rotate, open, rotate, close. Now, you, just to get this out of the way, you take this whole assembly, snap it in. Now let's work on the fun part. Open up his pecs to allow the chest to shift down, and these will slide into these grooves. And these two tabs will go into those two slots. That is how they shift the mass down. Then you open this up, fold out the rhino head, fold in the horns, open this up, bring the rhino horn out, close it, bring out the neck, snap this in, snap the neck into place, take the arms, shift them down, take the arm, shift it down, rotate this assembly, make sure the shoulder pad is correctly oriented, and there's the front of the Rhino, already done. So then you want to take this, there are 2 tabs down there which will peg into 2 slots, bring this around, then you want to untab these if they haven't untabbed themselves already, and bring them down, bring this back, and adjust the camera so you can see Rhino mode. Rhino mode looks amazing. He looks like a rhino, as he should. The transformation leading to this is amazing and complex to just the right point. I see why the legs in robot mode are slimmer now, because they need to do this and become the back of the rhino mode. It's fine, so whatever. His articulation in this mode is kind of limited. Front legs only go forward about that far. You can bend these in. If you rotate them like this, you can bend them back like that, and then these are on ball joints, can go up, down, can tilt, can rotate. And the legs get the knee joint, and then the ankles and the feet go back, and the tail wags, and all that stuff. Now then, size comparison. Size comparison time! Almost knocked over my water bottle. First up, we have Air Razor, so I'll give you all the necessary angles for that. I just bumped my camera, whatever. Next up, we have Cheetor, so they are pretty similar in size from head to tail, I guess. Rhinox is a bit longer. And here is Optimus Primal standing up, and Optimus Primal on all fours. So there's that comparison. Primal is much smaller in his beast mode than he is in his robot mode. Now let's get into some final thoughts. Overall, pretty solid figure. Hammer is nice, figure is nice, everything is nice. Primal next weekend. Until next time, my fellow Cybertronians, goodbye and good night.